The Mamba mentality has left a mark. Shout out to the NBA legend, Kobe, and your daughter, Gigi. From Tom Brady to Drew Bledsoe. Rain, sleet, or snow, I grind. I am clutch. I am the difference maker. I am the game changer.
Once again, Cody, every single time that intro for our show plays, it gets me excited. It gets me pumped up because it's another episode of the Game Changers here live on the Right Way Sports Network's YouTube channel. I'm your co-host of the Right Way Sports Network, dressed in all black today, too. Usually I go with my blue or my red or my light blue. I'm dressed in all black because it's a funeral and we're paying homage to Kamaru Usman's title run tonight. With my main man, Cody. This is also a funeral. Rest in peace to his bowels because this man literally shotgun a can of Skyline chili. Before we start anything off, Cody, I got to ask you, what the hell were you thinking when you decided to make that to make that a stipulation for yourself?
So before any of this, before we entertain, the self-deprecation that I went through in shotgunning a can of Skyline chili, to put you in the frame of mind, I was at a bachelor party with a bunch of guys from the Cincinnati area after a heavy day of consuming alcoholic beverages. So we may or may not have been having an incredible time. And I put a tweet on the internet that I definitely regret. I thought that there was no way that Jake Paul would knock out Ben Askren. And I was wrong in about 30 seconds. So terrible fight. It was honestly just shameful to watch.
Could we be honest though? I mean, I think Jake Paul and Triller, Snoop Dogg, the entire people that are in charge of Triller, I believe that they owe you a can of chili because I think that is the most rigged fight that I've ever seen. And I'm very careful to call things rigged. But you mean to tell me a YouTube star? Okay, I'm sorry, a acting celebrity boxer, a professional celebrity boxer, Jake Paul, right? Because I want to show him a little bit more respect than that, of course. Was able to knock out a guy who took hammer fists from Robbie Lawler, one of the heaviest punchers in the UFC on the ground, getting his face smashed in. And Jake Paul just simply hits him with overhand. Listen, the knockdown was legit. I'm not here to tell you Jake Paul doesn't have actual power in his hands. Jake Paul's knockdown was legit over Ben Askren. I'm simply here to just simply tell you that the knockout of Ben Askren, a guy who actively got up, walked to the referee, was fine. That I had a problem with. And let me tell you why I had a problem with it, Cody. Because I watched every single fight on that card. I saw guys getting dropped. I believe it was like one fight where a cab driver, somebody was fighting a former boxer. He drops the guy multiple times, and the referee, the same referee that refereed the Jake Paul fight, let him continue. He let him continue. And so you mean to tell me you're going to stop a professional fighter and Ben Askren from continuing from a knockdown punch from a YouTube? So I'm sorry, this had rigged written all over it. I know people don't want to hear that. I know Ben Askren will never admit that. But Ben Askren was smiling from either. He got paid a handsome amount of money to take a dive to Jake Paul.
Yeah, they called it ridiculously early. Like you said, Ben Askren got up. He looked fine. Like he looked very well aware of what was going on. I've seen, like you said earlier that night, they were letting stuff go much longer than that. So yeah, whatever. It is what it is. I'm out $3.49 and a half a bottle of Pepto-Bismol.
Right. But Cody, here's some news I got for you though, my man. I don't know if you knew this about me, but in a land far away before I started the Right Way Sports Network and stuff like that, I used to box, actually. There's actually footage of me boxing on YouTube, as if you guys didn't know that. My trainer reached out to me last night because I've been texting him a little bit saying, I'm getting that itch back to come back in there. So him and I agreed that I'm going to return to box, one little exhibition match sometime next year. That's my parting gift to him before I move out to Cincinnati, Ohio. I told him I would give him one more fight. I'm currently 7-0. I told him I want to finish at 8-0. That's what we'll do. But let me lay the gauntlet down right now. Jake Paul, if you ever see this, if you ever want to box somebody who actually has boxing experience, who is 7-0, might I add, who have actually boxed amateur fighters and things of that nature, I will gladly fight you. No, I don't even want any money. I just want to shut you the hell up, because let me tell you something. All the while, I think you're bringing a lot of eyes to the sport of boxing. I also think you're disrespecting the sport of boxing. Fight a real boxer. As I put on my Twitter, if you're not going to fight little old me because I have nothing to offer you, fight a guy like Adrian Broner. Fight a guy like Tyro. So fight somebody that actually has hands. Don't disrespect the sport of boxing. Don't disrespect yourself, right? Don't disrespect yourself by simply saying you're a boxer. If you want to be a boxer, be all in. Right? Be all in. Don't just say, hey, I'm a boxer. I'll fight this guy. I'll fight that guy and cherry pick, because that I don't respect. But Jake Paul, congratulations on your fourth, I don't even know at this point, celebrity boxing fight. It's great to see.
Yeah. Look, here's the deal. You would have thought that after what he has fought thus far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fought, I don't know who the hell his first fight was. And he fought Nate Robinson. Now he's fought
Right.
Ben Askren, right? He has now beat up 3 dudes who are like shorter than 5'8". Like my fiance is taller than that. That like cool. Congratulations. He fought Ben Askren, a professional fighter, and we watched his like legitimacy almost drop down.
Right.
Because it was that poor of a showing. Like it was that poor of a fight from Ben Askren that like the legitimacy of how good Jake Paul is as a boxer was almost diminished by the quality of the fight. So it is what it is. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I did lose, some Tums and like a little bit of my stomach lining, but it is what it is. If you want to see that video for any reason, you were just into like dudes being in pain, my Twitter, it's my pinned tweet. Go check it out. It is.
Oh my God. He said, there's so much to talk about tonight. We're going to get into all that because we do have a mock draft that we're going to do towards the end. That's going to be the last thing that we do. But keeping on the conversations of fighting, this week, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend, we've got Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal for the UFC welterweight championship fight. We've got Zhang Weili, remember me, as she used to say after one of her fights, going against Rose Namajunas, or Thug Rose. We've got Jessica Andrade taking on Valentina Shevchenko. And we've got just a stacked fight. Cody, I'm just going to give you my picks really, really quickly for those championship cards. Okay? I've got Valentina Shevchenko beating Jessica Andrade, although I think Jessica Andrade is a heavy puncher and she has the ability to knock her out. I'm also going to take Rose Namajunas, right, to beat Weili Zhang, right? And I like it. And that's Kamaru Usman's training one of his teammates, Rose Namajunas. They have the same coach, Trevor Whitman. And for the main event, I have not lied to you guys. I have not stated otherwise just yet, and I'm not going to change now. Jorge Masvidal is going to knock Kamaru Usman out. The baptism is coming. Mark my words. 6 days notice, right? I broke your nose. 3 weeks, I take your belt. 3 month full camp, what did he say? I'll take your life, or something along those lines. Those are dark words. It's time for him to get baptized into what Cody likes to call the shadow realm, and I'm here for it. Kamaru Usman, you have a few more days with the welterweight championship. You have a few more days saying how you're the best fighter in the UFC, and then poof, it all goes away. Jorge Masvidal will be your welterweight champion by the end of the night.
Yeah, Malik, I don't know if you're keeping track, but mentally I am keeping track in my head of how we've done. And outside of a bullshit Peter Yan knee to the head, we are essentially undefeated on our UFC picks. Yeah. So we're doing good. I mean, the only pick that we actually lost was the Amanda Nunes fight, which she was a minus 1,200 favorite. So it is what it is. We picked a dog. We like the money. It didn't go like we wanted to, but man, I love that. Masvidal is plus 320, not plus 320 to knock him out, just plus 320 to win. Right? I love that. Man, this should be one of the best UFC cards we've seen in months.
Oh my God, a year.
It should be years.
But I like free money, Cody. I like free money, and people are calling me crazy. Yes, I'm batshit crazy, and I'm that crazy to say Jorge Masvidal is going to knock out Kamaru Usman. All of you guys, you so-called experts out there, you people who watch fights, you guys are looking at the last fight, and you're not realizing what took place. Kamaru Usman just completed a full camp. Masvidal came in and saved the day because Usman's opponent got tested positive for COVID. 6 days notice. He went to decision with the welterweight champion of the world. The welterweight champion of the world couldn't even hold him on the ground, so he had to hold him up against the cage and foot stomps and shoulder checks and foot stomps and shoulder checks. Listen, one thing about me is I know fighting. And listen, if Jorge Masvidal couldn't beat him, I would tell you guys. Listen, this isn't me riding Jorge Masvidal's jockstrap. This is me absolutely speaking the truth. The guy fought the welterweight champion of the world on 6 days' notice, and the welterweight champion of the world, yes, he beat him, but he couldn't finish him. Like Jorge Masvidal said, Usman, you should be ashamed of yourself, because if I fight a guy who fights me on 6 days' notice, I'm decapitating him. That's why I'm confident in Jorge Masvidal. Yes, he was weight drained. Yes, he cut 22 pounds. Yes, he flew all the way to Abu Dhabi. Yes, all these things are factors. They're not excuse. They're real things that happen. Jet lag, fatigue, weight drain. These are things that actually happen. And the welterweight champion of the world didn't cause any real damage on his path to victory. He held on to survive. Ooh, listen, Jorge Masvidal does have good cardio. And I got another secret for you guys. Jorge Masvidal is going to be there in the later rounds with Usman. So if Usman can keep him on the ground, if he stuffed 13 of Usman's takedowns in the first fight when he was weight drained, sleep deprived, and all this kind of stuff, what do you think is going to happen in the rematch where the guy has a full camp? I'll wait.
And clip it. Throw that on the internet, Malik. Jeez.
Listen, I'm telling you guys, Jorge Masvidal, welterweight champion, and I've got nothing to gain. I got nothing to gain by saying, but listen, I'm able to separate my bias. I'm able to say, listen, this is a fact. This is not a fact. And the fact is, there are two guys in the welterweight division that I think right now can beat Jorge Masvidal. I'll name them. Jorge Masvidal, which he will do on Saturday. And it is super. We're putting that up right now. This is probably one of our most energetic shows. Absolutely. It's super necessary. Him getting baptized is super necessary. And it's going to be necessary for him to knock him out. But back to what I was saying. There are two guys in the welterweight division right now that could beat Kamaru Usman. Right? Jorge Masvidal, who's going to do it on Saturday, and a guy that's returning to the UFC, Khamzat Chimaev, who is the welterweight version of Khabib. Literally, if you stood Khabib and him side by side, the only reason why you'll be able to tell them the difference is because Khamzat Chimaev has a bald head, Khabib does not. So listen, Khamzat Chimaev will absolutely destroy both of these guys, I believe that. But Jorge Masvidal is going to beat your champion. Jorge Masvidal is going to beat your champion, Kamaru Usman, on for the welterweight championship, and I'm here for it, guys. And I hate to say I told you so, but Cody, who am I kidding? I love to tell them I told them so because it's going to happen.
Malik, if I had $1 for every time you were right. Like my ass would be on a plane to Hawaii, enjoying an all expense paid trip, just doing whatever the hell I wanted to do on vacation, because that is how frequently you have been right.
How much energy? How often do you see me with this much energy? I'm that excited. I'm that pumped up. Let's go.
It's one of two things. You either really know your shit or you're coming at me about Kyle Pitts.
Listen, I'm so confident. Listen, I will say I am very confident. I'm that excited. I'm not going to go that far because I can't control what's going to happen. But you know, we'll let it be. Listen, let's switch topics here. Steph Curry. Let's talk about Steph Curry. We're going to get in the NFL. Actually, we're going to talk about some NFL stuff. But Steph Curry has been on an absolute tear as of late. And let me tell you right now, Steph Curry, you probably do not give a damn what a kid who started his own sports news media company from New Jersey has to say, who's obsessed with the Cincinnati Bengals has. You probably don't give a damn. But I'm going to tell you, I owe you an apology. Water sip real quick.
Fair.
I owe you an apology because for years, I absolutely discredited your legacy. For years, I did not take into account what you were actually doing because you had the likes of Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Draymond, who is I think 2-time or 3-time defensive player of the year. Steph, you're making a believer out of me. I mean, I've always believed in you. Don't get me wrong. But I'm seeing Steph Curry do something that I only saw the likes of LeBron James do. He's carrying a less than team to victories against some top-notch competition, and he has no business to be doing it. But he's doing it. Steph Curry's lighting the league up right now. Now, he's out there saying I should be MVP. I don't know if I go that far, but what I will say is you're making a believer out of a lot of people right now, including myself, because I was one of those people that's saying, well, we don't know if he can lead a team by himself. Well, yeah, he's proving me wrong right now. They're getting their asses handed to them right now against the Washington Wizards. But, you know, I don't know. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Cody? I just really felt like I needed to really come out there and say, you know, Steph Curry, I have a newfound level of respect for Steph Curry from what he's doing right now.
Yeah, look, the three hottest things in the universe right now, the sun, the inside of a hot pocket, and Steph Curry. I mean, the dude is absolutely in fuego. He is the human torch. He cannot miss. He is shooting a basketball into the ocean. I mean, what he is doing right now, we have not seen in the game of basketball from a absolute heat check perspective. It's unbelievable. And he is not only putting up astronomical points, he's making plays, he's creating separation for his teammates. It has been awesome to watch because right now that Warriors cast and characters that are around him stink. Right? They are not good. That there is a lot of improvement that needs to be seen by the rest of that roster. They went out and got Kelly Oubre, and I think that was a mistake by the Golden State Warriors. But
garbage. That
being said, Steph, you are unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, show me something that he can't do right now because he is carrying this team. And I know that the argument against him is going to be, well, the team stinks. He's probably not going to make the playoffs. He might make that playing game, whatever. Like, I get that, but there is not a player more valuable to their team than Steph Curry. I think he should absolutely be in contention for the MVP. He is not the MVP front runner. And do not get that twisted. I am not saying he is leading the MVP voting by any means, but he absolutely should be getting votes. Because if you were to take Steph Curry off of that Warriors team, you would be talking about them potentially getting the number one pick again this year.
Yeah.
And you saw how valuable he was to them last year, right? He's gone and they draft number 2. So say what you will about the cast of characters around him and how, you needed this, that, and the other to get a ring. Now, put some respect on Steph Curry's name. That dude is the truth.
I'll go one step further.
The truth.
Steph Curry, you're making me so much of a believer. I'll allow something. And I'm personally going to allow this to happen because I have this power. And I have the ability to call the correct people to make her earth and the earth move or the earth spin and you know, I don't know. I tried to pull stuff out of the sky there, Cody. But I'll allow you next summer, Cody, Steph Curry, when you're
you shut the hell.
I'll allow it, right? Because I have the ability to control the things that other people can't control, right? I'm Right Report. I'm Malik Wright, right? What I say goes, right? There is no wrong. I am going to allow you to join a supreme figure. Some even call him a superhero. I'm going to allow you to join forces with the greatest basketball player to ever step foot on an NBA court. No, I am not a time traveler. I can't go back and pull Michael Jordan out of retirement, but it doesn't matter. He's not the GOAT anyway. I'm going to allow you.
Allow him.
I'm going to allow you. I'm going to personally start a crusade. Steph Curry, I will allow you to join forces with LeBron James next summer when you're an unrestricted free agent and Anthony Davis. Because I think you're that good. I think you are the caliber player that deserves to play with the greatest basketball player ever, with the GOAT. I think you deserve to. I think you deserve. Listen, we see other damn people teaming up. We see these superhero squads, or so they think. They're injured right now, but James Harden, KD, Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry. Let's start our own big three. Come to LA. Join LeBron. Join AD. Go against your former teammate who literally just joined you to get rings and KD the Snake. Yeah. Join LeBron James. Join AD. Run the West and split up another super team. I'll allow it, Steph Curry, because I think you're that good.
Look, the only time you're going to see Steph Curry and LeBron James together this summer is you are going to see them possibly play in the Olympic Games together. And even then, I doubt that. So, Malik, I love you, pal. But if I could, I would just splash a little water in your face right now, wake you up a little bit from that dream you got over there. I don't see it happening, man. There's no way that.
Whoa! Let me stop you right now, Nader. Here you go with your comments slandering LeBron. You don't never like anything that I like, man. I don't know what it is with you. I just think he's an anti-Malik kind of guy. But I'll tell you this. LeBron, listen, you say LeBron needs this, LeBron needs that. And I was talking to a friend of mine, right, Cody? And I'm sorry to cut you off. I know you were making your point.
No, you're good.
But a buddy of mine said, super teams have been going on, right? Super teams have been going on. Yeah. LeBron was not the first to start a super team, guys.
No.
Get out of this level-headed thinking. Nader, you're just upset because you're a Chicago everything fan, and your GOAT and Michael Jordan, who you've never seen play a basketball game ever in your entire life, you're simply going off of what you've been told. The fact of the matter is, Michael Jordan isn't the GOAT. I don't care. Listen, if you're starting a basketball franchise right now, and you say you could pick any team, any player to start your team with, right? Whether it be Kobe, Michael Jordan, Shaq, Magic, more people are going to pick LeBron James. Super teams have come together to stop this man. He's dragged bum squads from the Cavaliers to finals appearances with J.R. Smith and Matthew Dellavedova. What are you talking about? Things that Michael Jordan never did. Michael Jordan never did anything before Scottie Pippen got there. But this is a whole another argument for another day. But stop the LeBron slander. It's old and it's getting annoying. It's to me, it's just a drawn out thing that people keep saying. LeBron James did what he had to do. He beat one of the best teams in history in the Warriors, who broke the Bulls' winning record with Kyrie Irving. It was just him and Kyrie, solo dolo. He cleaned out the East. And now he's going to do it again with the West this year. You guys, listen, I don't know. I can't. To me, people just find new ways to hate LeBron's greatness. And I laugh at it at this point. Just appreciate greatness while you had it. And Nader, of course you would, because you're a Chicago Bulls fan and you're a homer, even though you've never seen the guy play games. You've probably seen him seen his highlights. That's about it.
Yeah, this NBA season has really just not had a ton of like juice.
Right.
Like with the injuries and everything, like it hasn't had a whole hell of a lot. Like the biggest news on NBA Twitter is like some catfish podcaster who's like a Lakers fan, apparently. Like that's like the NBA news that's going on right now. It's like, look, there's a lot of talent in this league. I'm excited for it. I'm glad, Steph is going off and like, that's great. Like, man, we need some parity. If Steph was on, like, name a team that is going to be a Steph, LeBron, AD team. You could put me on that squad and they would still win a title. Like I could be a star.
Okay. So
you're me and you. If it was Steph, KD, LeBron, me and you, I don't know. I've seen you play. They would still win a championship title. It's ridiculous. Look,
you're that confident?
I hope. Have you watched Steph and AD and LeBron? Are you kidding me? It's crazy.
I think Steph Curry needs to get out of the Warrior situation. I know he probably won't. I know a lot of people are going to hate me for saying it, but I think he has a lot more to offer a team. I really do. And this is nothing against the Warriors, but I mean, there are questions that come up. How back, right? How is Clay going to come back from his injury? We don't know. We could sit up here and speculate all day. Oh, Clay's going to be fine. Clay's going to do this. Clay's going to do that. Do we actually know? I don't know. But I certainly think that a guy like Steph Curry just deserves the opportunity to accomplish, greater things. I genuinely believe that. And
dude's got 3 rings. What do you mean greater things?
He has the ability to add to that. He has the ability, to add to that. Is he not?
Agreed. But like, if that's what we're going off of, like, yeah, then we should all get together, sing Kumbaya, and celebrate a Lakers championship with those guys.
That's what I'm saying, Cody, man, we should.
But part of a legacy is not only what you do, but where and how you do it, right? And not ever, like, if that's the case, then Bill Russell's the GOAT, right? Like, he has won 11 times, like, therefore, no, right? So it's when and how you do it. And part of what makes Steph great is that he's been with the same team this whole time, right? We haven't seen a guy do that since like the Tim Duncan, like that's essentially that Spurs trio, Dirk Nowitzki with the Mavericks. Like how often do we have guys go and change rosters? Like, and this isn't hitting on.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not hitting on LeBron for changing teams. Like he did what he had to do, but like that's Like, name guys who are more iconic to their teams than Tim Duncan on the Spurs, Nowitzki on the Mavs, D Wade for the Heat. Like, they embody their entire franchise. And that's what I love about Steph Curry. Like, if he's gonna go and team up with other guys, do that later. Now, stay and compete.
But the guy's not competing though. The guy's not competing.
Everybody's hurt. And the rest of that roster does stink. We'll see. If anybody can attract a Supermax guy, though, it should be Curry. The dude's an incredible playmaker. Not only is he an incredible shooter, but he makes everybody around him better. Obviously, he got Draymond Green to All-Star games. So that it's fun to think about, but at the same time, like, I enjoy NBA basketball. Please, for the love of God, Steph Curry, stay in Golden State.
See, they don't want you, Steph. They don't want you to be great. That's the issue, Steph. They don't want you to be great.
He's been great. He doesn't have nothing to prove.
But he doesn't have
anything to prove.
But does he not have the ability to take it to the next level? With the guy like LeBron.
He won 73 games. What next? And 3 championships.
But sustain. Listen, individual success is great. Sustained success is something that you cannot measure. Sustained success is listen, that's more important than just individual stats. Russ was great. Russ won an MVP. What does Russ have to show for it?
I get it. But Russ don't have 3 rings.
This
right?
is true.
Steph already has it. Like, that, there's no ring chasing that this guy needs to do. There is no, when we talk, like, the greatest shooter debate is done. Like, it's Steph Curry's the greatest shooter of all time. So when you talk about Steph, like, at this point, it's going to be, is he one of the greatest point guards of all time?
Absolutely is.
I don't think he needs to win more rings to be in that conversation. He's already in it. So we'll see. But Malik, is there any other sports fantastical things that are going on that we need to discuss?
Yeah, I want to touch on this briefly before we get into, the jerseys and all that kind of stuff. What do you think people making a big deal about Devontae Smith's weight?
I understand it. Like, don't get me wrong. I understand why. When you've seen the list of, like, all players who have been drafted in the last, 30 years who are under $170, it's not a great list to be on. Mm-hmm. At the same time, you have to separate a raw number, which is weight, and the talent that a player has, which none of those players have the same talent that Devontae Smith has. So I understand being concerned about it. The dude's still a top 10 player in my book. And I hope he's drafted as such. Yeah, I think that's, again, in the football world, right? This is all we really have right now, is like, we have preparation for the draft, right? We have a little over a week. That is what the talking points are. So they're going to bet the Justin Fields shit about his seizures. I don't know how that came out. I don't know how that stuff came out.
I think that's
regardless
that came out as well.
Doesn't affect anything. Right. That has had no impact on his play.
Still a phenomenal player.
No impact on it, and it shouldn't have. I don't know why it's out, but this is another thing that it's going to be something to talk about for the next couple of days, and then we're actually finally going to get to the draft. And that's all it is. It's noise. It's just noise.
So I think the last thing that I want to touch on before we get into the mock draft, like we promised everyone we're going to do today, the Bengals came out with new jerseys.
The threads, man, new stripes.
So I want to do a little bit of commentary over it as we I want to do a little bit of commentary over it as I pulled them up right now. I want to get your overall thoughts, opinions on the new jerseys, and also, have you ordered yours yet?
I have not. Reason number one is I have a wedding to pay for in 2 months. So maybe after we'll get a jersey before the start of the year. But man, these look good. These look clean. The Bengals, and I tweeted this out, the Bengals have a top 5 color scheme in sports. The black, orange, white combination is just slick, and it's one of the best. And I think it might be the best in the NFL. Yeah. But these jerseys they take the elements of what Bengals jerseys historically have always been, which I think is important to the Brown family and the Bengals franchise. And they make it clean. There's no fluff. There's no any extra this, that, and the other that some of like, especially the last jerseys had with like the black shoulders and the different colored like shoulder pads to the chest, to the center. Man, these look good. These look so good, Malik.
What is your favorite combination?
So my favorite combo is orange top, black bottoms. I think the orange tops, black bottoms look slick. There's the right contrast, and the picture that we have pulled up right now doesn't do it incredible justice, but the black pants have the orange stripes down the side of the leg. They look really, really, really good. I've always been a fan of the Bengals having orange as one of their primary colors. So that's my favorite. Malik, what about you? Yeah. What's your top pick here?
I like I kind of like the all black. I kind of like the all black. I think the all black is just like I really had an issue. I really had an issue with the all black that we had before. Personally, I didn't think that it was. I always thought it could be.
It kind of looked
darker,
messy.
I think, and it did kind of look like I had a lot going on. So I honestly I didn't have I kind of like these jerseys. I agree with everyone in the comment section. The biggest downfall to this, which I think will come next offseason. I'm not reporting anything. I'm just simply saying that I think that I wouldn't be surprised if I saw an orange pants next offseason, because I think that that's the missing touch. I don't see the certain things I just don't see staying, like the white jersey with the black pants. I'm not sure if that actually will be a thing to stick necessarily, but I certainly see what they're going for. I think that it makes a lot of sense. I love all the jerseys. I love the orange. I think it's simple. I think it's sleek, and I think orange pants would just be absolutely unreal. As Logan also said in the comment section. So I'm a big fan. Look good, feel good, play good. We'll see if that actually translates to more W's on the field. So Bengal fans, you should be excited. I mean, I think that was a good jersey reveal. I think that was a good jersey reveal. I know a lot of people were happy.
I'm excited too to see what they can do with the color rush.
Right.
To see what they do with the color rush. If they went an all orange would be nice. All orange would be real, real nice. I love the all whites. And I saw something that was floating around the internet with the rule changes that came out today. Which, for those of you that don't know, probably the biggest rule change that was implemented is the no overtime in the preseason. No, it's the new numbering system that they're going to allow. They're going to allow players, essentially any skill position can have single-digit numbers.
Right.
I think it's awesome. I think it's really, really cool. I don't expect to see a ton of change for players who are currently in the league. And the reason being is the players have to buy out the stock of the existing jerseys if they change numbers. I don't think a lot of players will be willing to do that because it is very expensive. That being said, very, very, very cool. So, man, it'd be a shame if and maybe we get into this mock, but we see a Jamar Chase Bates. number 1,
Jesse Bates number 3. Let's
JB3.
Go. JB3, just believe. That's literally what his whole thing is. So I certainly think Jesse Bates is one of the players that will change his number. Actually, that wouldn't shock me at all. Just believe JB3, and it'll be a great damn look on him. Jesse Bates is one hell of a player. So he's the best safety in the league.
Man, you see, I'm just envisioning the Derrick Henry, the 2 from Alabama.
Oh my God.
Imagine just getting stiff armed into the point that you are now lead blocking for that guy by a guy with the number 2 on his back.
Just because you said that, I have a brilliant idea for our social media team that I'm going to bring up to them, in the coming days. But guys, we promised it. Make sure you retweet. Go to before we start it. Guys, I need everybody right now, all 22 of you live on the YouTube stream, and the rest of you guys on the Twitter stream. I need you guys to go to the Right Way Sports Network's Twitter. Do me a favor. Go to the Right Way Sports Network's Twitter right now and retweet. Say mock draft starting now. Cody and I are about to do a mock draft. I'm going to give everybody a second.
I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do it right now. Go to
Twitter. Retweet. Say, guys, Cody and Malik are doing a live mock draft right now. You want to know who we pick. You want to know what we do. This is must-see TV right now. I'm going to give everybody a minute, everybody a second. I want to see the retweets going crazy. Do me a favor. I want the retweets to go crazy. I want the quote tweets to go crazy. Let's make sure we get some people in here.
Bro, I'm watching this number rise as we're sitting here. So some of you are great active listeners.
We love
Thank
it.
you.
We love it and we appreciate it.
That's awesome.
This is what we need. This is what we need. This is what we need because this is about to be an absolute blast. And we're going to dive into some picks. We're going to tell you what we like. We're going to tell you what we see happening, what we don't see happening. So is everybody with that being said, everybody ready? We're about to get this thing started. All right.
All right, Malik. So let's establish some rules for this draft.
Okay.
Are we trading? How do we feel? Are we drafting on what we think is going to happen? What we expect come Thursday, right?
So we're not going to do any trades this draft.
Okay.
They're not. Yes, we can see the chart. We can see this chat, Khalid. We can see the chat. But we're not doing any trades. We're gonna kick with the standard picks that are going on right now. The standard picks that are going on right now.
Let's get it.
And we'll just talk them through. We'll discuss them. We'll see who makes sense for who. Where we may disagree. It's not even like you and I are going pick for pick. We're just going to simply talk the obvious ones. We'll mention them.
Yep.
Other ones we won't. But I just saw Logan's comment. He said, "Chill. Number 3 is Cybert's number." Tweet of the day. I'm gonna do my own. I'm gonna do going live now. I'm just tweeting out to you guys, and Cody and I are about to get this thing started. Let's go. All right, I'm pulling up the stream. All right. So Cody, this is our mock draft going on right here, and Cody, I think we all know what the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to do. With their first pick. Obviously, we all know that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to take. Is there any hesitant? Okay, I thought you had me scared for a second.
No. Look, it's Trevor Lawrence. He's the best player in this draft. And
right.
What I really hate is we're gonna watch the draft on Thursday, and they're gonna take the full 10 minutes on the clock to get this pick in. And this pick has been in for 6 months.
Yeah,
this pick's been in since January. So
I think this pick was in before that even. I think they knew what they were doing. I think they had their guy in mind, sort of like the Bengals had Joe Burrow in mind. So we're gonna keep it going. Pick 2, Zach Wilson. Anybody else you have in mind, or are we in a agreement? Zach Wilson's the pick.
I think the draft really, like, as far as from an excitement standpoint, starts at 3. I think it's almost a foregone conclusion, the first 2. So if you're betting props, the money is so high on those 2 going to where they're going that it's not even worth betting. But this is interesting. Yeah. So 49ers, we've heard a lot of the Mac Jones. We've now heard the Justin Fields. Right now, Justin Fields is the favorite to be selected at 3.
But he won't be.
And I hope we're on the same page. You want
to announce it, or should I?
The San Francisco 49ers with pick number 3 select Trey Lance out of North Dakota State University. Let's go, Malik.
I agree. We are on the same page. If I can learn how to work this damn mock draft thing to where I can find the quarterbacks. Okay, here it is right here. This thing was like hiding from me. So we got Trey Lance going 3rd overall. I think that they've done a good job hiding it and not, trying to tell people, show their hand. But, the whispers are out. You didn't trade up for Mac Jones. Come on now.
Yeah.
Why the hell would you trade up for a backup quarterback? Come on now.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
That was so, when that first dropped, that was – I couldn't believe it. It was so dumbfounding that I just could not believe it. But yeah, I think, and there are ties to the North Dakota State coaching staff and San Francisco. I really, and from where the 49ers are at, they're in a great position to keep Jimmy Garoppolo, let him start if they think that Trey Lance isn't quite ready, but man, Trey Lance is good, played in a pro system. Kyle Shanahan's going to love that.
So somebody asked us, is this what you guys would do? No. This is exactly how I think the draft is going to play out. Now, everything else obviously is a crapshoot once you get past some obvious picks because you really don't know what's going to happen. But this is we're going to do our best job of trying to predict this year's mock draft. This is going to be our best job based upon the players that are on the board.
Yep. And I think at 4, assuming that Atlanta doesn't trade, and it'll be interesting to see if they find a trade partner. I think they are significantly more likely to trade the pick come draft night than they are before. And the reason being is because if San Francisco goes with Trey Lance at 3, that means Justin Fields is still on the board. I do not think the Atlanta Falcons are ready to take a quarterback, and therefore I think they tag the best player available, Malik. And who's that in your mind?
Let's discuss that a little bit, actually. Let's just discuss that for a second. You have a new coach, right? New coaches, we all know new coaches come in and they like to draft their quarterback. The Falcons are an extremely talented team, right? It would make sense for them to draft a quarterback here. It absolutely would make sense for them to draft a quarterback here. Why? Because they're too damn talented to be drafting top 5 in the NFL draft. This should not be a thing, but it is a thing, right? So when you look at how this is playing out currently for the Atlanta Falcons, I certainly believe that a scenario in which they draft the Justin Fields is possible. I think it's possible because you figure at the end of the day, I understand Matt Ryan's your guy, but Matt Ryan is also reaching towards the end of his career. He's in the twilight years of his career. He's on the deal for 2 more years. You have Justin Fields, learn behind him for a year. He's under contract for another year after that, so you can trade Matt Ryan, get actual trade assets for him, draft Justin Fields, and voila, you have your guy.
I like that. Is very Chiefs-esque. That is very Chiefs-esque. Draft Mahomes, let Alex Smith be ahead of him. Alex Smith has a great year. You trade Alex Smith.
And he's from Atlanta. Justin Fields is from Atlanta.
I am more convinced that Atlanta is going to take Justin Fields than they are going to take Kyle Pitts.
So can we agree?
To be honest.
Can we agree? Can we go Justin Fields here?
I'm in on Justin Fields here. I am.
I believe Justin Fields is the guy here. I really do.
Yeah.
I just don't think you can go anywhere else, honestly.
I think it's more likely that they select Fields or Sewell than Pitts. I know a lot of people have Pitts drafted 4. Look, we've said Pitts is one of my favorite players in this draft. Phenomenally talented.
Yep.
You can't justify taking a tight end at 4.
Nope. Can't.
You can't do it.
Can't do it. Won't do it.
Malik, I think probably 80% of the people watching are anticipating this one. You know who it is. Can I make the announcement like a commissioner? And Malik, ready to announce the 5th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft.
Good
Malik,
evening.
Take it away.
Good evening, Cleveland. With the 5th pick of the 2021 NFL Draft, then the crowd goes, what? The Cincinnati Bengals select Jamar Chase, wide receiver, LSU. And the crowd goes wild. And then we start hearing slander. Oh my God, how do the Bengals fumble this pick? I mean, you literally have Penei Sewell, the best offensive tackle prospect in years, staring at you in the face, and then you draft Jamar Chase and blah, 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 blah. That's literally what you'll hear. That's what you'll hear.
I am going to be so irrationally angry when I hear every person who has an opinion about football on Twitter tweet about how they already have T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. They need to protect Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow needs to leave since that's going to make me the most mad. Is the Joe Burrow needs to demand a trade because you know that's going to happen immediately after the pick.
With Jamar Chase, listen, you're getting the best wide receiver prospect. You're getting the best wide receiver. Khalid, listen, I appreciate you having supporting me, brother, but I will never tell somebody what to bet and how much money to bet on. I never will, brother. But trust me, Jamar Chase is the pick. Take it for what it's worth, but I'm not going to tell you how much to put down or what to bet. I just not something I feel comfortable with, my brother. But anyway, I think that Jamar Chase, right? I think Jamar Chase brings a certain element to the Cincinnati Bengals that we haven't had in quite some time. I think he's dynamic. I think he is one of the best wide receivers. I know a lot of people try to knock him for his speed and things of that nature, and he shored up a lot of those, those questions that people had about him during his pro day. I certainly don't think Jamar Chase Chase runs that fast. I definitely think that stopwatch was kind of fast there. But
they've all been fast this year.
It's about the way he plays, the way the guy plays. Yeah. The guy plays absolutely unbelievable. While you guys are here, make sure you guys subscribe to the Right Way Sports Network's YouTube channel. We're really trying to get to 1,000 people on the YouTube channel. So please make sure you guys subscribe while you're here to the Right Way Sports Network's YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate it. We have great content coming out each and every single day, and every other day we have a live show every single day of the week. So please, we appreciate your support. Thank you so much. But continuing on the path that we were talking about, yeah, I just really think that Ja'Marr Chase is absolutely a slam dunk pick for the Cincinnati Bengals. And for what people have to say, listen, you do not fix a position group in one round. This is one of the deepest offensive line classes that there have been. There are going to be the guys there at 38. In particular, there's a guy that I'm staring at. Hopefully, we make it through this mock draft and he's there. But Dylan Arendis, that guy, I'm absolutely a big fan of it. He was the guy that absolutely protected Trey Lance's blind side in college, and I think the guy has the ability to be a very, very special player. So I'm praying that him or one of Leatherwood, who played with Jonah Williams at Alabama, I'm praying one of those guys are there. So, Ja'Marr Chase is the pick for the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's keep it going. Who we got the Dolphins taking here, my man?
So I've been back and forth on this, and I think that when it comes down to it, the Dolphins are looking for weapons. Mm-hmm. And after spending first-round capital on a offensive lineman last year in Austin Jackson, I don't think Sewell's the pick here. And the other thing is they also have that first-round pick at the end of the draft, right? Or at the end of the first round. So I don't think they make a play for offensive line. So I think they go with a weapon. Mm-hmm. And I know they have Mike Gesicki, but I wouldn't be shocked if they traded back up in order to get Kyle Pitts. Right? What are your thoughts here? Are we going weapon?
Listen, I can make an argument for Devontae Smith being here. I can make an argument for Devontae Smith. I can make an argument for Penei Sewell being here. I'm not going to do that, though. I'm going to agree with you. I think Kyle Pitts stays in Florida, and I think Kyle Pitts is the pick for the Miami Dolphins. I'm pretty sure they wanted Ja'Marr Chase. I'm pretty sure they're high on Ja'Marr Chase, and that's the guy that they were banking to get. But, yeah, let's go with Kyle Pitts here for the Miami Dolphins with the 6th overall pick. I like that. This next pick is absolutely easy, slam dunk. Yeah. They've talked about it. I've talked with some people from the Detroit Lions. They're pumped about it. You can absolutely pencil. Matter of fact, put it in pen. Penei Sewell gets drafted by the Detroit Lions if he's here.
Yeah, look, there are certain things that you do not want to do. And I'm not going to call out any franchise in particular, but I would say that if you have a new quarterback coming into your building, maybe you build your offensive line so he doesn't, you can set him up for at least a little bit of success.
Right.
Yeah. Whether Goff is the long-term answer or whether you want to go out and get a guy next year in Detroit, which I think they will be in a position to do.
Right.
Get a guy, anchor the line. He'll be there for a decade.
Absolutely.
That's no-brainer.
You won't regret it. And here we're the Bengal fans that just took Ja'Marr Chase over Penei Sewell.
Look, the round is more, or the draft is more than one round. Everybody freaks out. Draft's more than one round.
But that pick right there that we made, that's because of conversations that I've had. I'm confident in saying that if Penei Sewell is there, the Lions are absolutely running up. They're absolutely running up, for a guy like Penei Sewell. So we got the Carolina Panthers here. I'll tell you right now, I think they go. This is a toss-up. It's one of the receivers, right? Do they do a guy like Devontae Smith, or do they go Jalen Waddle here? What do they do?
Look, I think this is going to be the second time in as many years that we see the play style of a wide receiver kind of outperform or go. And what I'm saying is this: last year we had Henry Ruggs, who was the absolute speedster, go ahead of Jerry Jeudy. I think this year Jalen Waddle goes ahead of Devontae Smith. Wow. I think NFL GMs are so enamored by speed and talent. In a team that lost Curtis Samuel, who was a dynamic playmaker for them. I think Jalen Waddle personally is the pick here. I think he goes ahead of Devontae Smith.
So Jalen Waddle is the pick for you.
Yep.
All right. I can agree with that, brother. I think it's a toss-up, right? I think it's all about a matter of opinion.
Yeah,
Now,
it'll be close.
The Denver Broncos here, pick 9. Denver Broncos, right? Broncos country, rejoice. Who do we got? Who we got going 9th overall to the Denver Broncos? I'll tell you right now, there's a guy right now staring at me. I look at the Broncos linebacker situation. They wanted one of the Devons 2 years ago. They didn't get him. They haven't been able to replace their linebacker since they had a guy like Micah Parsons. Since the guy they had a guy like Brandon Marshall. Micah Parsons makes sense here. It might be high, but Micah Parsons makes sense here. Cody disagrees with me. I can feel it. Cody, let me know.
So every time I think about what I would do if I were the Denver Broncos, I go, okay, we have a pretty good roster for the most part. Like there's a lot of talent there. They are losing some pieces on defense. Von Miller is not what he used to be. The best defensive player in the draft is Micah Parsons. And I think that's kind of a consensus for the most part.
Yeah.
And then I remember that John Elway is still on the staff. And John Elway is very, very good at reaching for quarterbacks in Tim Tebow and Paxton Lynch.
Do not do this. Do not do this, Cody. Do not do this.
How you can't tell me that the Broncos GM, who used to be John Elway, it is no longer him, but he's still involved in the front office decisions. You can't tell me they're not whispering in his ear.
But I'm gonna counter you with that. The head coach is Vic
Fangio.
Right? This is his pick. This is this guy's pick. This is his ability to pick the guy that is going to be his guy. I'm sorry. I think he goes a defensive player here. Whether it be, certain, and of that I'm not certain, but I try to be funny.
Oh, jeez.
But I think I
like
Micah Parsons.
I like Parsons. I like Parsons.
I know what this Cowboys pick is already. I already know what this Cowboys pick is here. It's Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, look, corner is such a need for that roster. They are absolutely devoid of secondary talent, especially after losing Awuzie to Cincinnati, which shout out. I told you I was going to remember the name. Got it right. I think it's almost a no-brainer. He is Caleb. I think Caleb Farley has the highest potential out of any corner in this class. But the Cowboys need a guy who can play right away.
I don't like JC Horn. I am not a JC Horn guy. The guy holds.
He's so handsy.
Sorry.
He's so handsy. Oh my God.
I'm off that train.
Yeah, I like Surtain here. I think Farley has better. I hate using the phrase he has a higher ceiling, but Farley's just so stupid athletic. But with back issues, the Cowboys are going to compete for that division.
Absolutely.
I think they're going to compete for that division. Surtain gives them the best chance to do that, and I think that's the pick here.
Now, the Giants fans rejoice. I've talked with many people who cover the Giants and things of that nature. I think the Giants fans will absolutely be, head over heels if this happens. I think that Rashaan Slater, the tackle out of Northwestern, is their guy. Bookend tackle with Andrew Thomas. You protect your quarterback. You protect, you protect your running back and Saquon Barkley, who we all know is coming off of a devastating ACL injury. I just think that Rashaan Slater makes sense here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I am a big advocate of, like we've said, getting your guy. And Rashaan Slater is some teams believe that Rashaan Slater is the best offensive tackle in this draft.
No,
right? That's there are and granted, we're both on the same side of the coin here that we think Sewell is better than Slater, but Slater is a phenomenal tackle.
Right.
Giants fans should be ecstatic with this pick.
Right.
They believe that Daniel Jones is the guy. So go out and protect your guy. This fits a team need. It's one of the best players available. I know my girl on Twitter, Steffi Smalls, is a huge advocate of them drafting Rashaan Slater here.
So she would love that pick.
She would love this pick. I will clip this and tweet it at her. But Slater's it's the right football pick. It just makes sense. It just makes sense.
Now this one. Let's talk about it. I think that this pick is easy for the Eagles.
Yep.
I think that they're going to draft Devontae Smith.
Yeah, best player available.
Devontae Smith goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. You pair him up with the guy who you drafted last year. What's the guy's name? Jalen Reagor. And you make butter. You hope to make butter with that draft pick, and I certainly think it's going to be a draft pick that they won't regret because I think Devontae Smith is a good pick. You pair him up with his old quarterback. Jalen Hurts. We'll see what we can see. I don't even know if it was his. Did he play with Jalen Hurts? Let's look that up.
I'm not 100% sure.
Jalen Hurts was in and out of the lineup too. I think they were definitely teammates, but I don't know if they. I don't know if
they ever saw the field.
I don't know if they actually we actually saw Jalen Hurts to Smith connection ever, but I could be wrong. We got the Chargers here, my man. I think they go tackle personally.
Yeah, I've thought about a lot of picks here, and I think I'm almost kind of debating the interior offensive lineman, Elijah Vera Tucker. And while I love the player, if you're going to draft an interior offensive lineman this high, it needs to be a home run. Much in the fact that Quentin Nelson was a home run. And while I love Elijah Vera Tucker as a prospect, I don't think that's a home run. I think the Chargers can absolutely compete in that division, especially with the Chiefs losing both of their bookend offensive tackles. I think we're both on the same page here. Christian Darrisaw is the best tackle available. He is a phenomenal player. He was one of the best offensive linemen in the ACC last year, and that is a team that had Notre Dame in it. He's great, and I think Chargers fans should be ecstatic with that pick. Protect Justin Herbert.
Now it gets interesting. Now this is where the draft gets interesting. I feel like the rest of the ones were kind of not easy, but I think that they kind of just made sense type of picks, right?
Yeah, they take a little less mental gymnastics to grab a hold up.
Now we've got the Minnesota Vikings sitting here. What are we thinking, Cody? Do they go offensive line? Remember, they need a tackle.
Right? They do need a tackle, right? They lost Riley Reif, but defensive head coach. I think there's a chance that they lean defense here, and there are a lot of defensive linemen available who, because we don't have a top end guy, right? In years past, we've had like a top 5, like this is the defensive end that you draft,
like this is the guy for sure.
And I want to hear your thoughts as well. But I think they go with a guy who's produced at the next level. I think they go with a guy who is a great talent in Jalen Phillips. I think that Jalen Phillips is going to be the first defensive lineman drafted. He tested very well. It's him or Kwity Paye, but I don't know if Kwity Paye is what they need opposite of Danielle Hunter.
I don't see them going Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips, he has a lot of concussion issues. That's kind of high. I
agree. It's definitely on that. I think if it weren't for the medicals, he would be the number 1 edge rusher in this draft.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. I think I struggle with that a little bit. I think that because of his injury concerns, I think that it's a little bit too risky right here. We don't have trade backs in our draft, guys. Hold on. Let me put my, my working laptop on the computer right now because it was going dark on there for me for a quick second. But I certainly think that I just think Jalen Phillips is a little bit tough to go there at pick. I think that although we're not doing trade backs in this scenario, I think this could be a scenario where they
absolutely. I think this is a situation where, especially with and seeing who's still on the board, right? Mac Jones still on the board at 14.
They still need corners. They still need corners though.
Well, I'm saying, like, not for the Vikings, but with Mac Jones still on the board at 14 and the Patriots sitting at 15, needing a quarterback, this could absolutely be a situation where if he is still here, that the Washington football team could jump him, the Pittsburgh Steelers could jump him. So I think a trade back situation could absolutely make sense here. But you're right; they do need corners. They need. I don't know if safety is a huge need. I know it says needs there, but they do still have Harrison Smith. What are your thoughts, Malik? Who do you think they go with here?
I think
this is a team that I've had a tough time getting a read on.
I think that this is a toss-up, and I think that they're going to go a defensive player. I certainly believe that. And I think if they go a defensive player, I think they're going to go corner. And I think if they go a cornerback, I think they go J.C. Horn personally.
Yeah, I like that pick. I think J.C. Horn does go fairly early. The family ties to the NFL are certainly in his favor. So Malik, does he go here? Does he go here? I have such a hard time not having Mac Jones here. It just, but
no, he doesn't go here.
Patriots are going to do.
He doesn't go here. He doesn't go here. You know who goes here? Elijah Vera Tucker. Why? He's one of the best interior offensive linemen. Why else? The Patriots lost Joe Tooney. The Patriots lost Joe Tooney. Elijah Vera Tucker goes to the New England Patriots here, and I know everybody's gonna be like, but I know people are gonna be like, but you know,
you can't tell me that I'm not sold on the fact that Bill Belichick, who is in most people's minds the greatest head coach to ever do it, he is also the GM of that team. You can't tell me that he's like super excited to be like, yep, we are going to go and draft the 5th best quarterback in this class.
Right.
And maybe he's not the 5th best quarterback on their board.
He didn't look happy at his pro day either. The guy was just literally missing. Mac Jones is not Brady 2.0. You have to put you should see some of these people in the comment section right now.
Nobody is Brady 2.0.
That is an atrocious take. That is an atrocious take.
I'm going to tell you that.
That is an atrocious take. I'm sorry. He is no. No, I don't think Mac Jones. I don't think Bill Belichick likes Mac Jones enough. I personally don't think that they go here. Listen, I think that I'm still of the belief. Remember, you guys call me Right Report. You know how I like to drop these right bombs, right? People like to say I'm like Woj, right? Drop these right bombs. I'll drop a right bomb for you guys right now. Here we go. The New England Patriots are going to draft out Elijah Vera Tucker if this draft pans out the way we think it's going to pan out. The New England Patriots also will acquire Jimmy Garoppolo next offseason.
I don't hate it. I don't think that Cam Newton is the solution. I think that the thing is like I understand almost drafting a weapon here because they need weapons, but they were so aggressive in free agency.
Yep. With
getting 2 tight ends. They got Nelson Aguilar and another wide receiver. The guy Kendrick Bourne. I don't think a weapon makes sense here, so I like that pick. The Cardinals. The Cardinals are in an interesting spot. They're set at quarterback. This is way too early to draft a running back. I think they need help defensively, but I don't know where we're going here. And
Rashaan Slater goes here.
That early?
Christian Barmore goes. Now listen, we're not doing trade backs. We're not doing trade backs right now, right? But why not? You got J.J. Watt. You got Chandler Jones. Who's stopping the middle? You could go linebacker. You could go linebacker. You absolutely could go linebacker here. We can go someone else, but I just think that it makes sense for Christian Barmore here. Now, it may be early, but this is the NFL draft, right, guys? People get drafted early. People get overdrafted. But I also like Jeremiah Owusu. I do. I think he makes sense here. It's up to you, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost Hassan Reddick. They also Matt D just reminded me. They also lost Patrick Peterson. They also are atrocious at corner.
I agree, but I don't like Caleb Farley this early. So and we've already had Hornby. Horn has already been taken. Right, Surtain's been taken. I don't see them drafting a safety.
Right.
Yeah, I like the pick. I like Barmore. Go ahead. You've sold me on it, Malik. You've sold me on it. And
and again, this is the NFL draft, guys. It's not about this guy got drafted early. Listen, if you have a guy, you take your guy. Simple as that. Take your guy. Ask questions later. Christian Barmore goes here. The Miami Dolphins are back on the clock. Who do the Miami Dolphins select with their second draft pick?
Oh, we're just going to skip over the Raiders like that?
Oh, I'm sorry, the Raiders. I apologize. Irrelevant franchise. I'm joking. Irrelevant franchise.
I love it. I love it.
What we got going here?
I think this pick is pretty straightforward. The Raiders are offensive line needy. They lost 3 offensive linemen in free agency this year. They are also a sucker for players who are just absolutely enormous for no reason. I think Tevin Jenkins is the pick here. 6'6", 320, Oklahoma State. He's an absolute mauler in the run game.
Yeah.
He has some really good feet. I think he's going to be a successful pro.
I agree.
So I love that. So Dolphins have some needs. They have some wants. They're in a team that like can luxury.
They're
draft.
in a good spot. They're in a good spot. They're in a very good spot.
So, as a guy who followed Notre Dame very closely, I think Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah makes a lot of sense here.
I agree.
He's a phenomenally smart player, but the thing that he does incredibly well is he covers sideline to sideline,
right?
Very, very, very well. I think Brian Flores would absolutely love to have a guy like that on their defense. And remember, they lost Kyle
Long.
Yep. No, not Kyle.
Not Kyle Long. Kyle. Oh man. You know who we're talking.
Yeah, the Patriots linebacker. He's the Patriots. He went from there, and then now he's back on the Patriots.
What is his
oh my
name,
god,
man?
this is gonna bother me so much.
Yeah, it's gonna bother me too because we know the guy. It's
Kyle Van Noy. Kyle Van Noy. Okay,
there we go.
So they lost Kyle Van Noy this offseason. I think that is it. Having a great linebacker is a staple of a Brian Flores defense. I think he goes out and gets this guy here, Owusu-Koramoah. I love the pick as a Notre Dame fan. I love the pick I'm a big defense guy. I think it's a great pick.
Washington football.
Is
Washington football team.
Is now the time? Are we doing it now? Are we going to press the draft button now?
Is now the time? Is now the time? I like it. Oh, man.
Because I'm telling you right now, if we're not doing it now, we're doing it next. If it ain't now, it's next.
Oh, man. Yeah, what the hell? The Washington football team select Mac Jones with the 19th overall pick, and I personally don't. I don't know. At this point,
someone trades up for Mac Jones. Now it could be the Washington football team.
I wouldn't trade up for Mac Jones. I wouldn't trade.
But somebody's going to. They reach in the NFL.
Oh my God, they always do. But I'll tell you right now, there's a team right now in the Chicago Bears, right? They lost their top tier cornerback this year, right? They Kyle Fuller. And there's another guy who I personally think has the ability to be the best cornerback in this draft class, in Caleb Farla, who's a sticky guy. He pinpoints the ball well. I think it makes sense here. What do you think?
I like the pick, especially from a franchise that has been so defensive oriented. There's another guy I like here, and he's right at the top of your screen in Rashad Bateman. I think he's a phenomenal receiver. The thing that worries me about this roster is they gave the franchise tag to Allen Robinson. You know he is not going to re-sign with that team.
I agree.
So the Bears are looking down the barrel of a gun in the sense that who is going to catch passes for them next year? And they signed Andy Dalton to a 1-year deal.
Right.
If you are anticipating drafting your quarterback next year, guess what? Then you're going to have to also draft a wide receiver.
Right.
I like Bateman personally. I think they go with him here, but I could see corner as well because of how defensive oriented that franchise has been.
And who are the guys? Who's like, I don't know. I struggle with it a little bit, but does Bateman actually replace Allen Robinson though? I mean, different guys, different skill sets.
They are very different, but I think they complement each other well. Bateman has had some drop issues, which is going to frustrate Bears fans if it does show up on Sundays. But the guy is as polished a receiver as they come. He was great at Minnesota the last 2 years. So I know he comes off as not the flashiest wide receiver on the planet, especially when we've had, the guys who have come off the board in Chase, Waddle, and Smith. But I personally like the talent. I think Bateman's a good pick.
So we'll take Bateman there with the 21st overall pick. Now we got the Colts on the board, my man. The Colts are also another team that, they have a need for wide receiver. Their tackle, I think Anthony Consenza, he retired. What are we thinking here, Cody? I mean, you're from the Indiana. You're from the Indiana area. You are our Colts aficionado.
So they did a couple things this offseason that I anticipated, and then a couple of things that I did not. And one thing that they didn't do is they didn't go out and get another weapon for Carson Wentz. And while I think that this is a spot where they absolutely could, I don't know if they do, right? The Colts have built a foundation on great offensive line under the current GM in great offensive line play,
right,
and good defense. And I don't think they're missing a ton of pieces because they were able to bring back Xavier Rhodes, right? So they were able to bring back their corner. Yeah. I think their left tackle retiring is their biggest need. Carson Wentz was absolutely terrible last year under pressure. They need to keep him on his feet. There are several good offensive linemen available. And I think one of the two who are going to go here is either going to be Cosmi or Reduns. And Malik, who do you think is going first between that pairing? Because I think they're better than Walker Little.
Cosmi.
And I don't think
I think Cosmi goes here. And let me tell you why. The unknown factor still with Dylan Reduns. I think that because of the small school that he played for, you're still going to get people who will knock him for that. And I know that Chris Ballard, he's a phenomenal GM, and I know he values that obviously still. So I think Samuel Cosmi goes here with that pick.
I like that pick. I think we kind of see a little bit of an offensive line run at this point in the draft.
There's a pick here for the Titans. They had one of the worst defenses in football last year.
So
they let Adoree Jackson walk out the door. I think that they try to replicate it. I think they try to press the restart button with the cornerback position, and I think that they go Caleb Farla here.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I think the slide stops.
Wait, or pass rusher, because they also tried to get pass rushers and they let both of their guys walk out the door. But I just think Caleb Farley is just too hard to pass up here. I really think.
Yeah, I think the talent there in Vrabel is going to be salivating over that. He's phenomenal. If it was not for his back issues, he would be a top 10, 15 player. So
the Jets, I think this is where we see a run on corner personally. The Jets, they absolutely I can't stress it enough. They absolutely need another corner.
Yeah, I think they could also use a pass rusher.
But then remember, that's what they signed Carl Lawson for. They re-signed.
They did sign Carl Lawson. Yeah. So you like Newsome? I mean, I think he's the best.
I think Greg Newsome is really good. He's sticky. Yep. He's everything that they would want. So I've got Greg Newsome going here to the Jets, which is also
another guy who's not afraid to step up and make a play in the run game too.
Absolutely. Now the Steelers are here. I know the Steelers have a need at, offensive line. The Steelers, they have a need at offensive line. They have a need at the defensive edge. They need another edge rusher to pair up with TJ Watt after their guy walked out the door. What are you thinking here?
The Steelers are a team I'm having a hard time getting a read on.
Yeah.
Before a lot of the fantasy community is hoping they take a running back here because they let James Conner out the door. And right now their running back room looks like Anthony McFarland and Jalen Samuels. Right. I think this is a little too early for the Pittsburgh Steelers to take a running back. I think they get enamored with some of the defensive line prospects that are still on the board. And there are a lot of talented ones. Azeez Ojulari is very, very talented. Kwity Paye is very, very talented.
Jason Away. Yeah.
So
Phillips.
I'm having a hard time thinking about who I want here, but I think it's one of those edges. Yeah. Who do you value more from a edge perspective?
I think Kwity Paye
guys remaining.
I think Kwity Paye is a nightmare for opposing offensive lines, and I think Kwity Paye would be a beast here. I'm just looking at it from the Pittsburgh Steelers perspective. The Pittsburgh Steelers like those twitch guys, right? Those guys that stand up as an edge rusher, and also, not that they would ask him to drop back into coverage, but also drop back into coverage if need be. And Azeez Ojulari is literally that. Azeez Ojulari is literally what the Pittsburgh Steelers would want with the doctor.
Yeah, I like that pick, and he's got quick hands, great feet. He's got a phenomenal the chop and dip on the edge. He's good. He's very, very talented.
He's really good. So we got the Jaguars again. I think that I'm personally taking Trevon Moore, safety out of TCU. I think that they need a safety. He's the best safety in the
love
class.
That pick.
Yeah.
I love that pick. I think that's a really good spot for him to go.
Wow. And I mean, literally the Cleveland Browns literally land on, who's who of talent right here. They absolutely sit back and they say, we love it because they have their, I mean, it becomes a nightmare almost, to be honest with you, for us as Bengals fans in the AFC North, because we know they're going to go defensive line here. Right.
Yeah.
And
I think it's Kwity Paye. I don't think it's, I think he's a much more safe prospect than Jason Owe. And I know he's touted very highly. Jason Owe didn't have a sack last year, but he tested off the charts. So it's talent versus production. And I think the Browns make the safe decision here and go with some production.
I agree. Now,
so
you can go.
The Ravens they're almost pigeonholed.
They need
to take a wide receiver.
Oh, I think
they need
because you got to look at it. The type of receivers that they were looking to acquire weren't
just the big body guys.
They were looking for big body guys, right? Yeah. I think that.
And if you're going to try to get a jump ball receiver, you can get jump ball receivers later in the draft.
Yeah.
Or like a guy that takes the top off the defense, like a De'Ami Brown. They do need an edge rusher.
I want to point to this question by a guy named Adam Bullock. Adam, here's the reason. Here was the thought process going with Kwity Paye. They've been looking for so long for someone to absolutely match with Myles Garrett, right? If you look at a guy like Jadeveon Clowney, first and foremost, he signed to a 1-year deal. He has not shown any sense of loyalty to any team that he's been with the last few years. He's been signing 1-year deals, hitting free agency, hoping to hit the market again, and that's literally what he's hoping to do again. Why would the Cleveland Browns pay him if you got one of the better pass rushers, one of the better edge run defenders staring at you right in the face? It's just a no-brainer right here for them to draft the guy, let him walk in free agency. Clowney isn't a solution. Clowney isn't a good pass rusher. Clowney is an elite run defender, and that's it. But he's not going to be a guy, to be quite honest with you, that the Browns are going to be able to afford. They still got contracts coming up with guys like Ward. They still got Baker Mayfield coming up. They still got Chubb coming up. There's still a lot more that they have to handle. So I don't think paying Jadeveon Clowney long-term money and is the solution for them. I think he can sit. He can learn from Jadeveon Clowney. He can learn from Myles Garrett for a year, come in certain pass rush situations, maybe relieve Jadeveon Clowney, even stuff him in the middle. I just personally don't think that Jadeveon Clowney should not alter your decision making.
Yeah, I think if anything, it almost asks you to take a defensive line here.
Absolutely.
Right? I think it's a combination of the best player available, a team need, and teams draft more than just in a 1-year mindset, right?
Right.
Very few teams are drafting for this year and this year alone, right? It's the teams at the end of the draft who are competing for a Super Bowl who are 1 or 2 guys away. And while a lot of people think the Browns roster is very, very talented, you cannot have too many edge rushers.
I agree.
And teams have shown that in the past. Like the Steelers have always had some edge rushers in that stable, and it's allowed them to, 1, continually have a pass rush, but 2, it's maintained a consistent level on defense where they're able to sub guys in and out and keep fresh legs. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is like, this isn't like Madden where like your 2 starters play the entire game. Like defensive line is a rotation and it rotates very frequently at the NFL level. Adding to that group, I think is an absolutely slam dunk home run pick by the Browns.
Now for the Ravens, I think they go edge personally again. I think a guy like Jalen Phillips.
So we finally hit Jalen Phillips off the board.
I think Jalen Phillips is off the board here.
Yeah, I like that pick. He's from a talent perspective, I think he's the most talented edge rusher in this draft. Again, it's going to come down to whether teams are comfortable enough to take him with his concussion issues.
Agreed. And this is where I think we see a little bit of a reach here with the Saints pick. Not too big of a reach, but I think we may see a little bit of a reach. It's 2 picks I see them going here. I see them going Asante Samuel Jr. or I see them going keeping the kid in New Orleans. I think Terrace Marshall would make sense here.
I actually have a pick that I really like here, and he's not a guy at the top. but he tested out of his mind, weighed in at 270, is an absolute beast. And he is so utterly talented. Out of Tulsa, Zaven Collins.
Wow. Okay. The linebacker. Okay.
The linebacker.
Okay.
It's a positional need for them.
Yeah.
Right. They
sure.
need to be able to stop the run.
And they just
weren't able to last year.
They just let the guy go. You're absolutely right. That's a slam dunk pick. They just let their guy go. They just let Quan Alexander go because of his injury concerns. And I think Zaven Collins is what they expected, what they expected Quan Alexander to be.
He is a tank of a human being. And a lot, because he played in the AAC, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, who, like what? No name pick. Like this dude is good. He is very, very good.
What do we think the Green Bay Packers do here? Right, last year they shocked the world. They drafted Jordan. But they drafted Jordan Love. Didn't give Aaron Rodgers any help. What do we think they're doing here? Do we think that they're going a cornerback because their corners played absolutely atrocious throughout the playoffs, or do we think that they go? Do you think that they stop the wide receiver slide for a second, and you think they select Elijah Moore?
I think they almost
or Terrace Marshall.
I think it's Elijah Moore or Terrace Marshall, and I am personally very, very high on Elijah Moore. I think Elijah Moore is a phenomenally talented wide receiver. And I think we're going to look back like retrospectively. And if he ends up with Green Bay, you're going to see Aaron Rodgers passing to a great wide receiver. So we should have very good or solid numbers. And people are going to go, is Ole Miss the new wide receiver you?
Right.
Because we're going to have DK Metcalf. We're going to have Elijah Moore. And we're going to have AJ Brown. I think he's a stud. And I would love to see him play in Green Bay.
So you think you got Elijah Moore over Terrace Marshall?
I do. Okay. Not that Terrace Marshall is a bad wide receiver by any means, but he had games where like his production really fluctuated a little bit.
Agreed.
And I think Elijah Moore is kind of a more, what you're getting.
Moore is kind of a more. I like that. So, the funny thing about this, right? The funny thing about this is this next pick coming up right here. I think it's kind of like a no-brainer. We've seen the Bills trying to revamp their entire defensive line. I think Jason Owe is going to be a guy. From reports, he's been shooting up draft boards, and I think Jason Owe makes sense. They got a guy who they think can build on the pass rush. We know that they drafted AJ Epinoza last year, but he hasn't necessarily looked the greatest as a pass rusher. But I think that they try to stack on. I think they try to take on their approach that they did with their offensive line, and they try to do it with their defensive line.
I think Jason Owe is the exact opposite of AJ Epinesa and how they play. Right. Epinesa is in your chest, heavy hands, like really force it, like it is a bull rush, pass rush kind of guy. Right. Owe is speed. He is all speed and nothing but speed. And I think that's a good yin and yang there on the edge. Right. I think Jason Owe makes a lot of sense here to Buffalo. Pass rush is absolutely their biggest need, and I don't think it's close.
Now we got the Chiefs going. We got the Chiefs sitting here, and the Chiefs, we know they have a need for tackle. They released Eric Fisher. They released
Mitchell Schwartz.
Schwartz with the back injury. I know he had a little bit of some injury concern that he was dealing with.
Yep.
What do we think they do here? Do we think that they go offensive line?
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
I do. It makes so much sense. And then it's the other thing that people are going to be after watching that Super Bowl, right? Like, what the problem was. The problem was that Patrick Mahomes was under so much pressure that he wasn't able to be Patrick Mahomes.
Absolutely.
Right. So I like offensive line here. Now, there are a handful of really, really solid offensive linemen left.
Yeah.
We have Reduns from North Dakota. I personally am out on Walker Little from the Chiefs need a guy who can play this year. Walker Little, who sat out last year. Yeah. I don't know if we've seen Walker Little play football since 2019 or maybe even 2018, but I think Leatherwood is actually the pick here. I know a lot of Bengals fans are going to be upset by that.
Leatherwood,
hoping that he would be available, but
look, I think Liam Eichenberg might be the pick. I think there might be a severe reach, not too bad, but I think I think Liam Eichenberg might be the pick here for the Chiefs. He's from an offensive line, a known offensive line school. He's a safe sound prospect. He gets a little grabby at times, definitely for sure. He got a call for a couple penalties, a lot of penalties actually. But what do you think about that, Liam Eichenberg? I could totally see them reaching and drafting him early.
So I agree. I think that also makes it from a fit standpoint. It makes a lot of sense. Eichenberg is not a dominant run blocker. Right. He never was at Notre Dame, but he was always good in pass pro. Right. And like you said, he does get a little handsy sometimes, gets a little jersey, but that I don't hate that pick. Yeah, I put it on the board. Liam Eichenberg is a great talent. And I think a lot of people are going to be, if you look at the offensive linemen that have either come out of Notre Dame in recent years or coming out of Notre Dame, you have Liam Eichenberg, right? Obviously, but you have Quentin Nelson, all pro, Zach Martin, all pro,
right?
Mike McGlinchey, pro bowler. Right. You have Ronnie Stanley, all pro.
The potential
so there are a lot of good offensive linemen to come out of Notre Dame, and I like that pick. What do the champions do?
I think that this is a luxury pick for them. This is all about what do we want. They don't need an offensive lineman. I don't know. I think that this is a luxury pick. I could totally see them being the team to draft Gregory Rousseau, though. I could totally see them being the team to draft Gregory Rousseau, keep him in Florida. You got Jason Pierre-Paul who's get up there in age. You just re-sign Shaq Barrett. You're gonna need another guy next to him. Why not?
So, we've reiterated this multiple times. You cannot have too many guys to rush the passer.
Right.
Like you cannot have too many guys to rush the passer. So I'm not a fan of Rousseau as a prospect. However, I do think some teams are going to reach. Okay. Right. He's now weighing it. I think he's gained 20 pounds since he last played between then and his pro day. So I thought he looked a little stiff. I thought he looked a little robotic, but some team is going to be enamored with him. Right. And if the Buccaneers, that makes sense. They need help defensively to rush the passer.
You keep a guy like Jason Pierre-Paul in for the early rounds, and you put Gregory Rousseau in on the later rounds. You have him rush passer, learn from Jason Pierre-Paul, learn to become a better run defender, things of that nature, and then you're good.
Yep.
It makes sense.
Yep. I like the pick. I think they either go that or they go like, hey, why not get Tom Brady another weapon? Because I don't think they're going to bring Antonio Brown back. So
no, they are. They are
actually.
They are. They're planning on it.
Fair enough. All right, then Rousseau is the pick.
Rousseau. So Gregory Rousseau is the pick. We got an A+ on the draft grade too. Look at that. That tells you Cody and us know what we're talking about. Yeah, I think that every pick made sense for the most part. We're just recapping a little bit for you guys. Every pick, we got a pretty damn good grade, I would say. We did a pretty good.
Yep.
Pretty good.
We have and I know we have a lot of Bengals fans in the chat. So we have quite a few offensive linemen still available. Yeah. Leatherwood, Reduns. So looking good for the Bengals in the second round. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's looking good. Only that you only downside is you have 4 teams that pick ahead of you. So you better pray and hope that your guy is there because those guys will be flying off the board in a quick, fast, and in a hurry. But other than that, Cody, you got anything else you want to add for the night?
No, I think for the most part, we covered all things in sports this week. A little bit longer of an episode, but we wanted to do a mock draft for you guys before the draft kicks off next week. And
absolutely
with UFC 261 recap, I think we're going to have a busy show next week too, talking about things because we're going to hear things between now and next week about the draft. I can promise you that. So I'm excited and make sure because the draft is a massive night for the NFL. Absolutely download the TWSN app because we are going to be publishing articles on there, recapping each day. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about your team probably at some point, and I guarantee you we're going to talk about your team in the 32 teams and 32 32 days that Jake Circus is doing on the TWSN YouTube. He has done such a great job. The guests that he's had on have been super informative and super insightful. So absolute shout out to Jake. But you can catch all of that and more. I mean, we have UFC 261 and our UFC show. I mean, if you're not watching it, what are you doing? So TWSN, subscribe to us on YouTube. You are going to find all that great content and more. And then go ahead and follow Malik at The Right Report and me at Smash Hit Sports on Twitter and Instagram and all those places, because we're going to be talking about the draft. I will absolutely be live tweeting the draft because I don't have anything else to do. I live for sports and it is great. Malik, send us home. What do you got?
It's been an absolute pleasure, Cody. We will see you guys potentially next week, because I'm driving to Ohio, so we'll have an update on that one. I'm driving to Ohio, meeting up with some buddies. We've got Jake Circus doing a great job covering the NFL draft for us live. He'll be in Cleveland, so make sure you guys give Jake Circus a follow as well. He's who we mentioned before with 32 teams, 32 days. But other than that, guys, we appreciate your support. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Cody said it over and over again. I won't bore you guys with it. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all our social media platforms. And other than that, guys, you can catch Cody and I every single Wednesday night at 7:30 as we continue to change, sports through our conversations, through talk. But we appreciate it, guys, and there's only one way, and that is the right way.
The marathon continues. The Mamba mentality has left a mark. Shout out to the NBA legend, Kobe, and your daughter, Gigi. From Tom Brady to Drew Bledsoe. Rain, sleet, or snow, I grind. I am clutch. I am the difference maker.